Here we go. Good evening and welcome to the January 28, 2026 meeting of the Norfolk Select Board. Just as a preamble, the meeting has been duly posted according to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A. The in-person meeting will not be suspended if there's technological problems. And if you're attending remotely, please use the sign in with your first and last name and use the raise hand feature. Please be advised that the meeting is audio and video recorded for future rebroadcast by Norfolk Community Television. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We usually begin our meetings with public comment, so citizens are welcome to express their views during public comment for up to 3 minutes on any matter that affects the town. We will not engage with the dialogue in that time, but we absolutely are giving it our attention and responding. So if anybody has public comment at this time, Jack, come on up.
Good evening.
Would you say your name and address before you
Jack
start?
Oliveri, 4 Barrel Place.
Thank you.
At the last Select Board meeting, I ended my public comments about the solar farm project by saying none of us is as smart as all of us. At least one of you agreed with me. It is clear to many of us that while you agreed, you did not believe it. For weeks, residents publicly advocated not just for procurement issues and process changes to be placed on the agenda, but for answers and an opportunity for discussion. While the board did place the items on its agenda, it chose not to allow any public dialogue. That decision, despite repeated requests from the residents, reflects a troubling lack of transparency and engagement and gives the impression that the three of you are smarter than all of us. A recommendation for a public forum or meeting was submitted in a lengthy memo signed by more than 50 residents weeks before your prior meeting. Amazingly, the board came up with the idea at the last meeting, which questions either whether the memo was even read or you're just late to the party. Only after the meeting was over and the cameras were off did you begrudgingly allow me to ask a few questions while putting on your coats to leave. You told me that you could not force boards and committees to follow your directives because they are elected officials like you. This position was used to justify not making suggestions and recommendations to the boards or calling for a bylaw study committee. That would have required leadership and common sense, both of which seem to be lacking. Strong leadership would have addressed head-on the many procurement mistakes in the leasing agreement for the solar farm that was communicated to the board by the Massachusetts Office of Inspector General in June of 2025. Instead, residents had to find out for themselves about the letter, as well as the ongoing criminal investigation on another issue by the OIG. As suggested by this board, I attended the planning board meetings and the zoning board meetings and asked many questions, and I even spoke to the town council. The boards indicated they were not responsible for battery safety on the site because they did not know about battery technology and it was not their job. Neither board wanted to discuss these issues, and there is no single person or body overseeing them. I spoke to town council after leaving voicemails. He told me he would call me back, but he was not required to respond to phone calls from Norfolk residents because he did not work for town residents. He works for the select board, who pay him, with our taxes, by the way. And he also works for 17 other towns. I then asked him how the former chair of the select board can sign a lease agreement that the developer can blatantly ignore, or how the ZBA could make the lease a condition in their special permit approval and then ignore it. He said, quote, "You can't read legal documents literally. They have to be interpreted by someone and decide what the meaning is rather than relying on what is written." I am stunned and disgusted we have reached at this point. We need to inform the public all about this and the lack of transparency and common sense in Norfolk that has led us here, especially prior to the next election. The Select Board has made it abundantly clear that this statement is not a public hearing, so I will not be asking any questions or expecting any answers. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. feel compelled to answer, and it's not appropriate, so I will not answer at this time. I'd love a copy of your notes, Jack, so that I could answer some of those, if you're comfortable with that. Thank you, sir. If you'd leave that with Amanda, thank you.
I can take a copy if you want.
No, I have.
Oh,
You have it.
oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. So we're moving on to number 2.
Well, did anybody else?
Oh, any other public comment?
I'm gonna wait on it.
All right, moving on to number 2. Before we start number 2, I want to welcome, I don't think I welcome the whole board, so I'm joined today, I'm sorry, we're all a little bit upside down today. I'm joined today by my colleagues Thais Hickman and Kevin Roach, and our brand-new town administrator, Rob Garrity and Amanda Johan. So we're here this evening, and welcome, Rob, to your first select board meeting in this new role.
Thank you.
And, or Mr. Garrity, I should say, and I'll pass number 2 to you.
So we have a transfer of a Class 2 auto license for Artisan Motors Group on 84 Rockwood Road to a new owner. Would you both like to come up?
Come in the comfy chairs. We've never bitten anybody.
So the new owner would be Mr. Benioff?
On my list, sir.
Do you want to tell, go ahead.
James Gagnon, the owner of the property.
Yeah. I'm Jamal. I'm the owner. They took over,
Excellent.
and I'm just keeping everything the same. Nothing is changed, and I already saw the rules on the old license, and I'm just keeping everything the same.
Awesome. Do you have any questions?
No.
Do you have any questions? I do not have any questions. Welcome. Congratulations on being the new owner, and we're pleased to have you in Norfolk. I'm going to go right on then. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
I would accept a motion to vote to approve the transfer of the Class 2 auto license for Artisan Motor Group, 84 Rockwood Road to the new owner, Jamal Beniyad.
Yep. Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And contingent upon receipt of all inspections, documents, and payments.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Number 3.
Judith had asked that we were waiting for the state for the letter of good standing. Do you want it?
I can take
I'll take
it.
it to you. It took the state like 3 weeks to get it to us.
Thank you.
We gave her one online, but that's a different one.
Okay.
It says the same thing.
Do you want a
Thank
copy
you.
of it? Or you have it on? Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, number 3 is about the water bill.
So as the board's aware, we've been changing water meters out, and we've had a number of water meters that failed in their ability to send information to the DPW, so people have been receiving estimated bills, and in some cases, the estimated bills were too low, so when the water meter gets changed, we discover a higher usage than we thought, and under the way we calculate the bills, the higher usage moves people into a more expensive tier. So that's resulting in a number of, I believe we have 8 before us at this moment, 8 in right now. I'm not going to put you on the spot, Amanda. We have about 8 requests for abatement. And it seems only fair to be allowed to allow folks to pay at the tier they would have normally paid at. So under the law, that requires an abatement by the DPW and affirmed by the board, and would normally require you folks to take votes on them at a board meeting. In speaking with town council, we've come up with an alternative to that. Now, you can still do that, and we can do it without a hearing. You could just do like all 8 at once that we have this week, and then in 2 weeks do all 12, and that doesn't change anything. We don't need to change anything. But we could have a policy that would allow me, as your agent, to sign those abatements once they've come from the DPW, if just in that circumstance. And I wrote a policy which would allow for this approval for failure of metering equipment to probably transmit accurate usage only, and it expires 1 year from this June, which I believe we'll be done with the changeover project by then. If not, we could extend it. But
So I'm going to summarize my understanding of it, and then I'll open it up to the board for questions. So it seems like because of the transfer of equipment, we have some people's water bills are sort of artificially inflated,
Yeah.
and we're authorizing you to solve the problem instead of going through the traditional process. And it's a temporary situation, and beginning on June 2nd, 2027, we'll go back to our normal way. And if there were a water abatement separate from these circumstances, it would still come to the board.
Correct.
So that's my understanding. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, well, the only thing you said, you said they were artificially inflated. It was the other way around.
The
Artificially.
charge was artificially.
Underinflated.
Under the first time.
They
around.
were
Yeah.
undercharged, but it's reducing, for people who are watching, we charge people, we are trying to encourage conservation, so people who use less water get a lower rate. If you use more water, you get a higher rate, so if your bill suddenly spikes up, you're charged at a higher rate, and that's not our intention, to charge people at a higher rate. So this allows our town administrator to resolve that for folks as it trickles in.
Yep.
Get the water, did you get it? As it trickles
That's
in?
So I guess I would just like to be informed as these situations arise. I'm only aware of two, the one that came before us at the last meeting, and then someone emailed with respect to this issue. So if this is going to be something that is going to be, a significant problem,
Yep.
I would like to know. So if I'm fine with you,
So we can give updates at every meeting.
yes,
Yeah, we've got, Amanda tells me 12 in so far.
Okay.
12, okay. That's pretty.
But if giving you the authority to do that allows for efficiency for those residents as well,
Yeah.
right?
We wouldn't have to have them wait, wouldn't have to have you folks take up the time. But
And I guess the other question is this a function of the new water meters, or is this a process issue? Because I don't think I got an answer.
it's a
on
function of
that.
the old water meter. So the old water meter wasn't sending proper information. So the staff would just estimate the bill. Okay, this is what we think you used, and would give them an estimated bill. And it turned out their usage was actually higher than the estimated. So it all ended up on one bill. So you could have months and months and months and months of
Estimates.
low estimates that end up on a big bill, and pump you into the tiers. So it's really a function of the older meters, which need to be replaced, and which we're currently, the town voted to do this a couple of years ago, and we're currently underway with it.
And will the meters be replaced by, we're saying we're going to go back to status quo on June 2nd, right? So,
2027.
2027.
That's the outer edge. I think the meter project will be done before then,
Okay,
but just wanted to give an outer edge.
okay.
Excellent. And just to be super clear, this only affects the people who have been have gotten low estimates, and now their bills are high.
And if there's a question as to any bill, I would have them come to the board in the normal course. These are going to be the very clear ones. This was obviously a tiering problem.
Okay.
Any other
Fine with it.
questions?
Nope.
All right, let's see if I can do this here. So I'm going to move that, I'm going to accept a motion that the board vote to delegate the water bill abatement approval for tier adjustments due to the meter change to the town administrator under policy 26-01, where a requested water bill abatement is in response to a change in tier rating based on the failure of metering equipment to properly transmit accurate usage. That abatement may be approved by the Director of Public Works and granted by the town administrator acting on behalf of the board. This policy shall expire on 6/1/27.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. Moving on to number 4. Town Hill.
So we have several applications to use Town Hill for the summer concert series and Tunes for Tots. We have rain dates and regular dates for the concert series.
Any questions or concerns? Public Safety approves all of those events?
Yes.
Questions or concerns?
Nope.
Can I, do I need to read all those events, or can I say as listed in the agenda? So I would accept a motion to approve the use of Town Hill by the Recreation Department as listed in the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Todd, you're up, number 5. This is for people who are watching, the dozens and dozens of people who are watching, and thank you, Donna, for being here. This is a quarterly, we've asked for a quarterly financial update from our finance director, and we are being joined by Mr. Todd Lindmark. Thank you.
Thank you. Other one. The other one.
Oh, are you serious? Oh, you're right.
We had this discussion
Sorry,
earlier.
I know.
It's okay.
We're a little upside down today.
Thank you.
It's already been a very long week for some people.
So in your packets, you should have two documents. The first one is our revenues, like I've not normally gone over in the past on our quarterly updates. This just gives a preliminary alignment of where we are with what we anticipated for budgeted numbers versus actual numbers for the current year as well as the previous year, just to show you any trends or any issues that we might be experiencing. And as you go through all the different numbers, everything kind of dovetails into where we anticipate. Taxes are coming in where they are need to be. Tax liens, that is monies that are for tax title properties. Last year, we had a lot of people making payments for whatever reasons, if they were trying to sell or what have you. So the payments from last year were a little bit higher than they are currently now. That doesn't necessarily mean that it can't significantly change all of a sudden. We do have a little under $1 million in tax title and about a little under, right around the $1 million mark in foreclosure. And the difference between tax title and foreclosure is we put liens on the tax title and can get our monies from the property if they do sell. Foreclosures, we actually go through the entire process foreclosing, and then we actually own the property. In the past, we've had some foreclosure properties that we've sold, which has helped out with our free cash. A couple of houses, a couple of vacant pieces of land. The inventory right now is not really geared towards having another auction, and plus some of the rules and regulations that are currently pending out there makes it a little bit trickier to do the foreclosure process, but we're keeping our eyes on that as well. Moving into the local receipts, those are the monies that we receive from various items on a local basis. Motor excise is one of the bigger ones. The monies that we receive throughout the year typically are from the previous year, so the $226,000 to date is for previous excise taxes throughout the year. Our excise tax bills don't actually go out till February, and then March payments start coming in. So next quarter, you'll see a much bigger jump on that. Meals tax, pretty much in line with last year. Penalties and interest, that dovetails in, like I was talking with the tax title, penalties and interest attributable to those types of properties. So that is down a little bit based on the previous. Charges for water and sewer. This is basically the indirect costs that I set up each year for the budget purposes. With the two enterprise funds, we are allowed to have indirect costs come to the general fund, and that's part of the revenues. So for water and sewer, those two amounts. And it dovetails with the previous last year's dollar amounts as far as the trend dollars. For sewer itself, budget purposes, last year we did lower the budget on a couple of items, and one of those was some of the indirect costs to make it more palatable for those users but we need to be mindful on a going forward basis on sewer with respect to retained earnings and things of that sort to incorporate that, and that'll be coming up. Water hearing is next, and then sewer hearing should be shortly after that, and we'll give more of an update on where we end up on that. The lease for the Metacomet, a 3% increase, so that's $53,000 approximately. Transfer station revenues are a little bit over last year's, $142,794 currently. Need to be mindful because we do have some revenues that were curtailed momentarily, and Rob and I will talk about revisiting that as well as all the other fees throughout the different departments. Over the past couple of years, each of the departments has gone back, looked at their fees, made some adjustments and so forth, and we kind of continuously need to do that. I know that Chief Kinney and myself, every year we talk about ambulance rates, where are we, where should we be tracking, increasing things of that sort. So we're mindful of all those different amounts. Licenses and permits. Big drop here, 583 last year, 318,340, and that's the permits for building, whether it's houses or additions, decks and things of that sort. It is down. I have to be mindful when we do the budgeting setup about new growth aspect. Last year we had $650,000 for new growth. It came in right around thereabouts, but the expectation is the new growth will probably be less this year. Right now I currently have it as placeholder of 550, but we'll have further discussions as we get closer to finalizing those numbers, both with the assessors and the building department, see where we are, so we can make sure we have a good number for that.
Is that for existing construction or new builds or both?
Both.
Okay.
All in. Fines and forfeitures, small number, but basically on track. Investment income, you'll notice last year was about $210,000 this time. This year we have about $286,000 coming in, so we've done very well with money management. Big changes, moving a lot of the money from various accounts to the ones that actually pay quite a bit of interest. So we've been capitalizing on that aspect, which has really been helpful. Ambulance receipts, last year we used $475,000 to help with the budget. This year in FY26 we're using $600,000, which is a pretty significant increase. But right now with the ambulance receipts where they're tracking, paying for the debt of the ambulance, as well as helping with the budget, both in terms of the overall budget, but also directly with the ambulance billing, we're able to maintain that. And like I said, we'll have conversations with Chief Kenny to make sure that the rates continually need to be monitored. Miscellaneous, last year was $264 at this point. That included the prison mitigation monies. This year, my understanding is we're not getting prison mitigation monies. So that's why the miscellaneous is only $4,800. State aid, basically all of it's coming in and as anticipated. So no hiccups there. Assessments, that's the monies that we pay out for various things, mosquito control, the county tax, MBTA assessment, regional assessment, things of that sort. And then transfers from free cash, 1.1 million as we utilized in the budget, and then the $40,000, again, the $40,000 is from the ambulance receipts to pay for the ambulance billing in the general fund. And those are pretty much our overall revenues. Like I said, I highlighted a couple of the ones to watch out for that we'll be mindful of, but some other ones are tracking really well, so that's helpful.
Where did you say the additional aid was coming from?
The state additional aid?
Yeah.
So it's the library funds that come in.
So you said we're not getting the prison mitigation money this year?
Correct. That's my understanding.
I don't think it made it in the budget. We have invited Senator Roush and Representative Vaughn to talk to us later in February so they can help us understand how to advocate for that in the future.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions on the revenues? Next page. Top portion is the revenue portion, which we went over on detail. Again, it's broken out a little bit differently, just to categorize a little bit more efficient so it can fit on one page. But the items here, real estate taxes, and you'll see debt exclusion at the bottom for revenues. So we have to pay for fire station, the library, which is going to be coming off the rolls pretty soon, and then the school, Freeman Kennedy, and the police station. So those items are debt excluded, as well as KP's debt, which is coming off this year. So we will not have the 400 and change thousand of KP debt going forward for the debt exclusion. But the rest of the items there basically dovetail into what we just looked at on the revenue pages. So hopefully you don't have any questions. Expenditures, going over that. Left-hand column is the budgeted amount. Right-hand column is the actual year-to-date as of December 31st. General government, which is basically town hall, including land use, town clerk, my office, select board office, treasurer collector, town clerk. So those departments fall under the general government function. and trending right now is about 39% usage. Public safety, which includes fire, police, and building, they're trending at just right around 49%.
Can I go back to general government? Is general government lower because of, because you would expect them to be about 50% because this is the end of quarter two? So is general government lower because we haven't filled the assistant town administrator HR position?
Well, there's that plus other positions that have been throughout, so we've had some
Gaps.
changes in personnel as well, so you might have had a higher person, now they're at a lower rate, things of that sort, so that's all factored in, because again, budget was done last January, February, and then all the, has happened since then, so yes.
Okay, thank you.
Education, again, right around the 49%, and that's education, all education, so Norfolk Public Schools, KP, Tri-County, Norfolk Agricultural. Public Works, very similar to general government, they're trending lower. Again, some open positions over there. I'm not going to say that they're trending lower in snow and ice,
No.
because they're going to be significantly higher, I believe. So right now, I think it's about $150,000 over budget at the moment, and rising. Human Services, 42.9%. Culture Recreation, right around the 50% mark. Benefits and insurance, no, it shows almost 75%, but that's due in part because we prepay or pay upfront the amounts for the retirement benefits, which is $3 million and change. We do that as July 1, so all of that is paid for the year, but that gives us a pretty substantial discount on a going forward basis. Debt service, those two numbers are low. Typically, what happens is timing of debt. These particular pieces were taken out in the first 2 quarters, and a majority of the other stuff is on the second 2 quarters. Typically done when we do the capital planning. Sometimes we'll do debt funding, debt raising after that, and it just dovetails into timing-wise the 3rd and 4th quarter. So those will go up, but anticipated to be at 100%. So right now, all that said, we have a net of about positive 425 currently.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not red. It's a little black number. I
now.
love the little black number.
Any question?
Yes. You said King Philip was coming off this year and it's about 400,000?
Mhm.
Okay.
And that's on the excluded portion, so the excluded debt will go down to $400,000 on a going forward basis. How we have it carried.
Based on these trends, do you think by the end of the fiscal year, we will still be in the black, or what do you think?
Currently, I believe we will be in the black. To what extent, I don't know.
I mean, are these trends consistent with where we've been in prior years?
They're getting smaller and smaller, but yes, it'll still be positive.
Any other questions? Please.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. We appreciate this. Thank you. Moving, or, yeah.
So I'm going to ask Todd to stay for this next
I was
one.
going to say, don't get up. I'll pass it to you. Budgetary process.
So Todd and I have started, Todd's sharpening his proverbial pencil, and we've started on an FY27 budget. We met with the advisory board chair, the advisory committee chair today, and talked about the process going forward. So as you know, and we have town meeting on May 13th, we have to submit a balanced budget at town meeting. That budget will have to be essentially locked down, more or less, by the beginning of April to make the warrants, to be able to be printed. We're going to meet with the warrant closes on the 17th of February. So between the 17th of February, we're going to start now, but between the 17th of February and second week in April, that's when all the activity is going to really happen with the advisory committee. And for budgetary purposes, I know there had been discussions about having the advisory committee participate in our discussions. So about 5 years ago, there was the budget sessions that the select board did were joint, they had basically 2 Saturdays where you took everyone in and kind of ran the gamut. We were talking about that with the advisory committee because you want them to participate in it. And Todd and I and Dave Lutz spoke, and we think that's something to think about again this year. It's, given the time compression, probably a good idea. And we were toying with the idea of doing perhaps a major department heads on a Saturday, and others who want, if there are department heads that wanted to be there that we didn't initially think, because there are some departments that don't have a huge budgetary impact, or a lot of their funding is not within the normal budget, like rec, a lot of their funding is not, within the budget. Have them there for that meeting. The advisory board will want to have their own set of meetings. They might have some department heads they want to hear more from. They'll definitely have the schools in, I'm pretty sure. Because we will have some non-budgetary items, they'll have planning in to talk about those. But if we were to do this, we thought that it's probably best to do the Saturday meeting between March 1st and March 15th. That gets us enough time internally to have a very good draft budget going in February and know where we are more or less by the time those hearings come, so the department heads and the advisory committee could react to where we think our initial thoughts are. And it also gives the advisory board enough time to have their meetings with them. Todd, what did I miss?
You hit all the points.
Okay.
Obviously, at this point in the budget, we did a preliminary. I've done a forecast. I've put in numbers of what I anticipate for the budget, but I could be blown out of the water. I don't know. So some of the items, obviously, that we're waiting for include the schools, all schools, the assessment from the MEC, which we'll get shortly from Rob when he has the meetings over there. The debt numbers I already have. All the departments except for Public Works, which is in play at the moment to finalize where they want to have their budget, ultimately end up within the accounts for the various divisions of that DPW, including some payroll numbers and things of that sort. But we're about 75% there. Obviously, the numbers will dictate. Our health insurance carrier gave us a range. They haven't given us our number. So we need to get the number, which their underwriters are in the process of working on that. The state just sent out the governor's proposed cherry sheet items. So we have those, and that'll be the preliminary number that I input there. So again, the number is a 3% increase. That'll help offset some of the expenses. It's not drastic enough, so that's where we're at the budget process. The budget itself, the process, like he said, will have the meetings and so forth. I don't know if you want to meet with all the department heads, if you want all the department heads to be there, or primarily the big departments. We've gone through this process as we've done 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whenever it was. And at that point, we had identified and went through line by line, and not much changed except each year thereafter. Cut. And it's like, to the point, and I don't like to use the phraseology, but we're getting to the marrow. So it's
and I think
tough.
The Citizens Academies have been a good kind of warm up, so people understand exactly what's in the budgets and what these budgets represent. I have to remind you, our largest revenue source, the property tax, is capped at a 2.5% increase every year plus new growth, which is not great. State aid is not making up differences. So, and last year we covered $1 million of free cash, and then
405,119 for the stabilization fund.
Out of stabilization, which we later filled back in. But so there are some tough decisions. I'll give you one more date. By the end of March, we have to decide whether or not the select board would vote to put any questions on the town election ballot. If there are going to be questions about for instance, a debt exclusion, which I think the advisory committee's talked about a lot regarding the tri-county money. It's been discussed. I don't think I'm breaking any
Well,
news.
am I wrong in saying, he was saying King Philip was coming off this year, it's almost about pretty close to the same exact amount as King Philip?
It'd be a one for one.
Right. So the taxes wouldn't be affected at all if we voted the debt exclusion for Tri-County?
Well, I think I would like to make a pitch again for using ClearGov as we build this budget, because I think that, given the time crunch, we're only going to be able to meet with the department heads, it sounds like, once before we close the budget. I think it would be nice for the residents to be able to see this on our website as we build the budget, given that we don't have time to have individual meetings necessarily, it sounds like. So I know that Mike had brought it up, that we have ClearGov, we're not using it. I don't know how true that is because I've never actually played around with it, but I would like to make a pitch for this budget season, if we can, to try to implement that.
So it's there. I think, and Todd, correct me, I think it's hard to get to. It's a little harder to get to. We could change where it shows up on the website, for instance, put it up on the front.
Yeah.
And, it gives you a real plethora of information.
And I know advisory has been asking for line item detailed information for quite some time, so I think that would also help them. It would help me, quite frankly, understand what's going into the budget. So even if we can't get it up on the main page, I would like to at least try to implement it somewhere where people can actually access it as we're building the budget.
What do you think, Todd?
Sure.
I mean, you've used it a lot more than I have in your role. Do you think?
Is it user-friendly, or is it a bear to work with? I don't have any experience using it.
ClearGov is a great program. They just recently merged with another organization, so there's a call, I believe, next week to talk about how that's going to look on a going forward basis. They say that ClearGov is going to continue as is, but it's bought by this other company. So for me to find out more.
Okay.
Right now, ClearGov, the way we use it, is for building the two budgets, one the capital budget and the other is the operational budget. We started implementing the operational budget only a couple of years ago. We've been primarily using it for the capital budget, which gives you the big 300-page booklet which details everything for the 5-year span period of what our capital needs are. And operational-wise, I think we started 23, so 23, 24, 25, 26, now 27's budgets are going to all be in there. And
So
it
you
is,
use it, it's just that people don't necessarily.
and then there is the links on the website, transparency, there's a page on my page, there's a page on the home page, I think, if there's a drop down on the tab for community involvement or whatever that is, I think it brings you, we renamed it because it was named transparency or something or other, but we actually put it as ClearGov.
Community, ClearGov, financial.
But I guess
Yep.
my question is, can we see it as the budget is being worked on in real time, is the question.
No, it's not like we would load in, this is the February 15th version of the budget.
And we can't do that?
It would take energy to do that, and then to do that again, and to do that again as the budget evolves.
And it would have, from our experience
But
on
we're
the
talking
advisory
about a
committee.
March, we're talking about having the budget by the end of March. So by the end of March, would we be able to at least load in that iteration of the budget?
Oh, by the end of March, we'd have a pretty cooked budget.
And I'm thinking we have two budgets, depending on how it lands, right? If we are coming in okay, we're like, because we've been squeaking every year, we kind of squeak in and we can squeak in okay. We made a really intentional conversation about it not, to the best of our ability, not using free cash to solve our problems, but if our budget is really close and we can do a little free cash, but if there's huge gaps in our service for our citizens, then I think we need to say, here's the balanced budget, because we have to do that, that's our charge. but here's the budget that keeps some of those services in place that you're expecting, and whether that's class size or ambulance response time or whatever, this keeps those services in place, and so that people know what they're choosing if we get to that point. And it's still an if.
And that's the point, is like, I don't want to get to town meeting and we're having conversations about why this got cut, why did we do this? I would rather have it up there on the website so that citizens can look to see, what the decisions that are being made with respect to the budget, so that when we get to town meeting, it's out there.
Yes, well, by end of March, it'll be out there, right? Because it's going to go to the printer in early April, right?
Yeah, mid-April. But yeah, the last advisory
Right, but
committee
people
meeting's
won't
going to be
have
that first
time
week.
to digest it. Like, if it's up there, we have the tool, it's on our website.
Yes.
Give the people access to.
Yes, I'm all about, yes, absolutely. And then they could also go back to the Citizens Academy and say, I want to understand this department. They could watch that video and see, because in the slides it includes, what does this cost the town? How many employees? What is your charge to the town? So,
But I don't think it will say, if we're off by 1.2, this department has to cut these people, or this department has to cut these people,
No. But it will show folks what the budget is.
And what we're spending
where the
our money
cuts are
on.
where the cuts are being made. And I think that will help the conversation if we are not using free cash and we are asking departments to cut. That's a lot easier when you have that data there for people to look at, rather than just trying to make the argument.
So at the very least, we need to get all of our departments' actual budget requests, because we're using some holding numbers right now for instance, the schools. We don't have the school budgets. I would hate to put up a number that we're using for a holding
Yes.
number, and people think that that's what the schools thought their number was.
Yeah,
And
no,
then
I'm
it turns around,
talking
it's a
about
different-
like after we have that meeting mid-March with all the department heads and we have a good idea of what the budget is going to look like, I think at that point, that's when we want to upload it onto
Oh, yeah.
ClearGov. And I don't think have we done that in the past?
Maybe not in ClearGov, but we could do a
It is in
detailed
ClearGov.
presentation.
I'm not sure presentation-wise on
If
as accessible.
if you as a resident go into ClearGov, I'd have to check the settings, because
Okay.
again, a lot of this was mostly internal.
Yeah,
The external is all the budget numbers and actuals
yeah.
that are uploaded, which is data that's there. It's used for us as well internally. So I'd have to look at that aspect to see if I can publish it so that when, if I have numbers there, good numbers,
Yeah.
What does it look like from a preliminary budget standpoint? And each of the iterations, because you can put iterations, initial, preliminary, subject to, date, whatever. Well, we've done that, I don't have my budget book here, but
Yeah, I know we do that, and I know it's published, but I think it would be nice for the data people out there that really want to dig into the data and really see where the money's going, that we have it up on our website. I mean, we have the tool
Absolutely.
there.
it's not a matter of if it's up there. It's a matter of them being able to see it.
Can they access
So I
it?
gotta check into
Yes.
that, because it
Okay.
is there.
Or do a presentation separate from ClearGov that's a little more accessible for people. If
That could
the
even-
ClearGov is cumbersome.
Provide a link to like a specific page in ClearGov that handles, this. Here's the PowerPoint.
We could put up a news flash, maybe use their latest iteration with the PDF.
Yeah. So the one thing to keep in mind,
Yes.
if the board decides that they want to pursue the debt exclusion to replace the King Philip debt with the Tri-County debt, so kind of keeping things even, that decision won't happen until the May election. So we will actually have to go to printer. Todd, do you think we'll have to go to printer with two budgets? One that contemplates the
I'll have an answer for you next week. I don't have an answer for you now.
I'm sorry, I put you on the,
That's fine.
I didn't ask you this earlier.
That's fine. Which
We
is
might
why I'm
have to
not-
provide, this is what happens if we do vote for this is what happens when we don't.
I think we owe that to people, to say that this is what happens if we do, this is what happens if we don't, so that they know what they're choosing. I think and we'll continue with our process of having a pre-town meeting, so people can submit questions and attend that meeting, and that is,
We should definitely have it before the election, for the mere fact that they'll know, we can explain about the debt exclusion before the election.
Yes, so have the pre-town meeting. So I don't remember the date of May town meeting, but the election's May 7th, May 5th?
6, I think.
5th.
May 5th is the election.
And
So-
he said the date is, the town meeting is the 13th?
13th.
So do the pre-town meeting before Election Day, so people have a chance to ask the questions about, if there's questions on the budget that are on the ballot.
Well, there's going to be, the debt exclusion is going to be on there.
If-
And that-
If the board decides to do that.
If we decide,
Okay. I don't see why we wouldn't, for the mere fact that it's not, if one's coming off and one's going on, it's not going to affect their taxes. If they don't vote for it,
that's just the debt exclusion just for Tri-County you're talking about.
That's correct,
But we
yes.
also have, the budget picture is, that solves one piece very elegantly, and I love it.
Yes.
But there's also the roof, there's the roof, there's the feasibility study, there's other things that are going to compromise this budget. So the debt exclusion might exceed the Tri-County number. But we don't know yet, because we haven't gotten in the mud. And ideally, there's some magical,
Is that coming to the budget, the KP roof project in?
I have not been briefed on that yet.
Okay.
they did get MSBA funding.
Yes.
I don't know if there's, I don't know how soon that impact, you know, Todd knows.
I only know based on the Educational Citizens Academy where Mr. Drolet somewhat kind of gave an update and the fact that they weren't going to be coming to the towns for the study.
Yeah, they're doing
Yes,
that
I
out of
remember
E&D.
Jim saying that
Coming
they could
back.
afford that, yes.
Correct, so they were going to take it out of their E&D currently, so they wouldn't have to come to the towns. But, you know, probably the fall,
Yeah.
they will be coming.
Okay. And just for people watching, MSBA funding is excellent because it means that about roughly half of the project is paid for by the state, not us. So that's awesome. But we still have to come up with the other half. So that's the awesome part.
That's very well put.
That's
Our assessment of the other half.
our assessment of the other half. Well, roughly half, it depends on what numbers they give us, but, okay. So I think we're in agreement about,
So can I,
yes, please.
real quick, to answer Rob's question while I'm here and I'm not checking anything, if we go down this route of the Tri-County debt, I would propose that we do something similar to what we did last year. Separate warrant article for that item, utilize the stabilization funds if need be. If it's voted on and passes, that obviously doesn't have to come into play, and you can make that language in as part of the, contingency.
So without an actual different budget, just using free
Parse it
cash.
out.
For that one, I know.
Let's see how the
That
winter goes.
That gives me pain.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see how the winter goes.
I'm just being pessimistic.
We can do, like I said, utilize it now
Yeah.
as a backstop, and then free cash gets certified, put the monies back in, and then figure out next steps.
And is there a decision, I'm just thinking, I haven't prepared for this, so I'm just thinking what's going through my head. Is there a decision about that Tri-County must be separate? And then if there was an operating budget,
Those would be different.
they would not be lumped together, but they would be two separate
Yeah,
items?
because the Tri-County one will cease to
It's
exist.
time sensitive.
Once
Yes.
the debt is paid.
Not time sensitive, but time locked.
Yeah. Yes. And a general override is,
Forever.
we still have the $300,000 road override in that budget. We voted 20 years ago.
Is there anything else we should be talking about? We're going to need to set a date for the Saturday meeting then in May. Do you think one Saturday will do it?
So if we don't do require every department head to come, I think one Saturday could do it. What do you think? You have
Saturday.
more experience.
And we could bring some of the smaller departments to a select board meeting.
Yes.
Right? We could have them join
And
us.
obviously, we'd offer them the opportunity, but not compel.
So we'll need to set a date, toot sweet. Right away.
Right away.
In March, you said? It's going to be,
Yep.
can we set a date now, or?
So we have the 7th to 14th and the 20,
Can we set a date for that without having it in the agenda? I'm sorry.
I think you could
We
direct
can
me
come up with a
to
tentative date, right? And then we can vote on it at the next.
investigate the possibility of doing
This
days.
is part of the budget process.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, it is. It is indeed. I think my Saturdays in March are available. Do Saturdays work for you?
I can make it work. I'll
Thank
take the day off to be
Awesome.
there.
We appreciate that.
I am
So will I.
busy on
Yeah.
a couple of Saturdays, so I just want to make sure. You said by mid-March, right?
Should be my mid-March. I'd love to do either the 7th or 14th.
I would prefer the 7th if that works for Kevin and Anita.
So it's gonna be from 8 in the morning till 6 at night?
I hope not. I'm going to be talking to the department heads tomorrow. I'll talk to them about March 7th, see what it looks like for them, and then we'll get a location.
Lovely.
I'm guessing probably either the school or the library. Probably the school, given
Yeah,
the size.
given the size of the group. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll work with Todd on that.
I think last time we met in here. We were right in this room.
But you're having advisory too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Okay.
do really want the public to be engaged.
Yes, we want the public to come. Absolutely, we do. Okay, probably the school.
Okay.
Probably the school. And just a reminder to people who are watching, if you go to the website and you click on the button, your town at work, there is a question portal in there where if you have questions to ask, we are eager to answer them. So there's a question portal. So are we done with number 6 and we're moving to general updates?
Anything else you wanted to? Anything else we wanted to cover?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Nope, we're
Thank you.
good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Yep.
Mr. Garrity?
So it's been a great first week meeting folks and finding my way around town hall. First of all, I want to thank Mike Gallagher for the work that he did over the past, I think, 7 months. And working with Mike over the last week has been great. I think he's been a great partner. He gave me about 4 big organizers worth of files I have to work on. I thought of getting my revenge by trying to hire him to do their work, but he's enjoying his retirement. I also want, speaking of retirement, I just wanted to note for the board that Ann Proto's last day is Saturday. So Ann's going to be leaving us after 26 years of service. She's still going to be around. She's still going to help out and do some time. Josh Walther, who's been with the town for a bit over 5 years, will be succeeding her as the recreation director, the board has determined. I have some news on the Pond Street land. As you may recall, DOC agreed to offer the town 43 acres of land adjacent to the Pond Street Recreation Complex. So the purchase has been delayed because certain aspects of state government wanted us to do a MEPA, Massachusetts Environmental Policy Act review, which fortunately, through intercession of many people, was put off. We don't have to do a MEPA review, until we actually decide what we're going to do with the property. We are going to do a survey, and DCAM is helping out with that. The purchase price is about $400 an acre. Recreation has been cleared to, I believe, at a previous town meeting, voted to buy the land. So that will be a reality. It's
That's exciting.
it'll be a great piece, at the very least, for passive recreation. We had a snowstorm this weekend.
Yes.
If you were in town. So it was about, our staff was here for about 40 hours. We had the first snow event on Sunday, dramatic amounts, 2 to 3 inches an hour. By the time they were done, cleaning up the falling snow, you have to do the button up, push everything back, salt and sand, and then they got hit with another snowstorm Monday night. Minor, but it was significant. So they were out for the better part of 2 days. We had 22 contract vehicles out on the roads. We had 13 DPW staff working, and we dropped about 199 tons of salt and 92 tons of treated salt on the on the roads. And
My street looks great, so they did a great job, and I live not on a main road, so
that's excellent. Thank you.
I think they did a great job.
And the staff has been working without a regular DPW director, and the folks have really stepped up down there. Everyone's
So it almost shows we don't need a boss. They've been doing such a great job without one.
well.
Look how much money we're saving.
Yeah, you had me in my two-wheel drive out at 4 a.m. on Monday, seeing if the roads are okay to go. Or Tuesday, whatever.
Go to
No,
school.
we don't want to do that.
You could use the DPW truck to get full drive. It's just sitting there idle.
So that storm is going to cost north of $140,000 when all's said and done. And we were at our snow and ice number pretty much before that. A third of the snow and ice number is just supplies that we buy beforehand. Attached to that, we started to get calls today about the resident parking up on Liberty Lane. So there are 32 parking permits that we sell to people who can park on the street, parallel on the street, instead of next to the MBTA lot. Well, the MBTA lots weren't really plowed. Yeah, this morning.
That's not our jurisdiction.
No, we don't plow them. But they were basically, I think, just a couple of big rings plowed in there. So there was room for 5 or 10 cars to sneak their way in. But then people started parking in the resident permit spots. So we did a couple things. We contacted the MBTA and we got them to come out, and those lots are now plowed. So people who normally commute, you're welcome. People who normally commute to Boston can use those lots. And we also, I contacted the police. If this persists with non-permit parking, we do have the ability to tow or ticket those people. So we're going to monitor the conditions tomorrow, make sure that people are parking where they're supposed to be. We'll take appropriate enforcement action if they aren't, because the lots are now open.
Now, the MBTA say they're going to get them open, if it shows again, they're going to get them open in a timely manner, so this problem doesn't arise again? Because normally all the lots are plowed when they're supposed to be.
I was really surprised that they weren't done when I went out on today to take a look at them after we started getting calls. I said, okay, let me go take a look at what's actually going on.
Yeah, I went down there, I was at 10:30, I went down by Dale was to drop a car off, and the lots were full of snow, and all the cars were just parked all the way down along the side.
Yeah.
All behind the food mart and everything on both sides.
Yeah.
Because there's no place else to park.
So we have a good phone number to use.
Excellent.
And then one last thing. In December of 2024, Pulte came in front of the board and talked about a potential development in the lot adjacent to the MBTA parking lot.
Yeah.
They came in today, had another meeting with them and Rich McCarthy. They're still very interested in that development. It would include housing units plus commercial. And it would, ideally, it could use the septic capacity that we have up the hill, thus easing the burden on everybody of the underused system. So we might actually have to do something at Springtown meeting to help make that project a reality in terms of zoning changes or alterations.
Do they currently own that land? Or-
They do not own it fee simple. There are agreements. They won't proceed until it's a little further along.
Gotcha.
Could we have them come back into the select board meeting to just give us a little more updates on what's going on?
What,
Yes, 'cause
I would
I wasn't
love
here,
that.
What's that?
Yeah, I wasn't here, so I would love to hear from them.
Yeah, I'll reach out to them.
And that way, if we have any further questions, we can ask them directly.
I also, it's unrelated, but I had an email that the Southwood project is moving to phase 2, so maybe we should bring them in too.
Yeah.
Phase 2 is exciting because it's no longer phase 1. Phase 1 has lasted a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a very long phase 1.
So that's, we are getting more snow this Sunday.
Is that I think that's a question mark?
It's a question mark still. My iPhone yesterday said 8 to 10 inches. This morning said 0.3 inches. So somewhere between, 0.3
0.3 and 8 to 10.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. Anything else, sir?
No, thank you. It's been a great week. A lot of fun.
Awesome. Any updates? Any updates?
No, just, are you going to talk about MMA?
I was going to just very briefly, because we're all tired today.
Yes.
I definitely wanted to thank the DPW. They did a fabulous job. They took really good care of us, and I'm grateful. I bumped into Al today, and so I thanked him personally. I also I'm very excited to have Mr. Garrity sitting in that chair, so welcome. I enjoyed very much partnering with Mike Gallagher, so he will be missed, but I think it's been an easy and nice transition, and so I'm very excited to have you in that chair. And Ann Proto is a fixture in this town, and so, Josh, I'm sure, will be amazing. She will be missed, and she is a fixture here and has done so many wonderful things for the town of Norfolk. In COVID in particular, the rec department really rose up and met the needs of our community in a way that's really remarkable, so she will be missed. And then finally, every year there is a convention, MMA, Massachusetts Municipal Association Convention. They call it Connect 351 because there's 351 cities and towns in the state of Massachusetts. And your entire board and Mr. Garrity, we were all able to be there. And we went to workshops and saw keynote speakers. We heard our local leaders like Elizabeth Warren and Senator Markey and Governor Healy, and even Mayor Wu was there. And so we got to see a lot of our local leaders. And but we also had time to, I think for me, one of the benefits of it was to connect with each other as like human beings, like to take off our select board hat and talk about our children and our houses and to tell stories together. And that is something we don't have the opportunity to do as a board. And so that is a real value. And then there's also opportunities to put your select board hat back on and to meet with other people in that role and to learn what their communities are struggling with and how they've solved some of their problems. And so it's a really valuable time. I always leave there energized, though I am quite tired today, but I leave there energized. You look around the room and there's so many people doing the public service, and so it's energizing to see that. So that I was pleased to be joined by my colleagues and Mr. Garrity, and it was excellent. We'll be talking more about some of our learnings at another time when we're all a little bit less tired. And that's all I've got.
Okay.
All right, I would accept a motion to approve the warrants as for the period of January 13th, 2022 to January 23rd. Let me try that again. I would accept a motion for the board to approve 9 warrants for the period of January 13th, 2026 through January 23rd, 2026, as printed in the agenda for this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 And I would like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for January 5th, 2026.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it.